Summer's here, and Nordstrom has everything you need for your best dress season ever. From beach days and weddings to weekend getaways and your everyday wardrobe. Discover stylish options under $100 from tons of your favorite brands like Mango, Skims, Princess Polly, and Madewell. It's easy, too, with free shipping and free returns, in-store order pickup, and more. Shop today in stores, online at Nordstrom.com, or download the Nordstrom app.
The spirit of innovation is deeply ingrained in America, and Google is helping Americans innovate in ways both big and small. The Air Force Research Laboratory is partnering with Google Cloud using AI to accelerate defense research for air, space, and cyberspace forces. This is a new era of American innovation. Find out more at g.co/American innovation.
Hey, I'm Candice Lim.
And I'm Kate Lindsay. And you're listening to ICYMI.
In case you missed it.
Slate's podcast about internet culture.
And Kate, I have some great news to share. Did you know that the rom-com is back, or that it's going to be back next week?
I'll believe it when I see it. I know what movie you're talking about, but I will believe it when I see it because I feel like I've heard this claim a lot. And I've yet to have that You've Got Mail injection of pure joy into my heart sense.
Exactly. And the real ones will say the rom-com came back in 2022 with Marry Me by J.Lo, and I say thank you so much. But I'm hearing that next week, the new movie, The Materialist, is coming out, and it is from Celine Song. She made Past Lives, and it stars Dakota Johnson as a matchmaker who has to choose between her broke ex, played by Chris Evans, and a rich older guy, played by Pedro Pascal.
In the world of matchmaking,
this weekend, your client is getting
no one plays the game better than Lucy.
6'2", doctor, lawyer, banker.
I get along much better with girls in their 20s.
But love isn't part of her equation.
I don't want to fight about money with my boyfriend.
You know how hard it is to make you happy.
Lucy M., the eternal bachelorette.
I'm gonna die alone. Forget a rich husband.
You're the matchmaker. You must know a lot about love.
I know about dating.
And off this premise alone, who do you think she'll pick?
Well, at this point, the stereotypical way that this would play out is that she obviously realizes that she loves her broke ex from her humble beginnings and not this flashy guy. But that feels a little too obvious to me. Mm-hmm. But if it's not that, I worry it's going to be a similarly dated kind of 2018 pop feminism vibe where she chooses herself, which is just also not realistic when you have Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal in front of you. Like, feminism is having two men want to be with you, actually, not, you know, riding off into the sunset alone. And so I guess what I'm actually rooting for is a complete subversion of that, and that she's like, I'm actually going to marry the rich hot guy.
Yes.
That's 2025 feminism.
Yeah, because, like, half of me is like, we can either go into Pretty Woman territory, which, hey, I'm all for it, or what you're saying, we go into How to Be Single territory, which
we both love, which is great movie. Because we had a real sort of difficult moment in our working relationship when I talked about how much I love the new Tim Robinson movie, Friendship, and Candice not so much. But How to Be Single, we're back on board together. We both love it.
Exactly. And the irony is that Dakota Johnson also stars in that. And so, taste. But here's the deal. Regardless of how this turns out, I will be sat for The Materialist because I have to admit, it is probably my second most anticipated movie of the year behind Megan 2.0, a.k.a. Megan Sixskin.
Did you see this news just broke? Ma 2 is about to start. I saw. Make that 3 most anticipated films.
That's right. And guess what? All M names.
Wow.
Megan, Materialist.
Chew on Hollywood.
Ooh, the letter of the day is M.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm excited for this film because if you know, you know that this completes the trifecta of cinematic love triangle movies between Celine Song and her husband Justin Kuritzky's, because she wrote Past Lives. He wrote Challengers. And to me, I think she's saying like reverse Uno bitch with The Materialists. But every time I see like promo material for this movie pop up on TikTok or Twitter, I see the same comments. They're all like, I'm going to walk out of the theater if she picks a broke guy. This is poor guy propaganda.
Yeah. And I do think it's fitting that this is the conversation that TikTok is having, because TikTok is the home of so many relationship experts who, like I imagine Dakota Johnson is, not accredited. Some aren't even in relationships, but they just like love to hop on live and dole out advice, whether they truly believe it works or not.
And speaking of relationships that didn't work out, have you heard about the wizard Liz?
I had not heard this woman's name until this happened.
Yep. So the wizard Liz, she's a YouTuber who got cheated on, and she has been crashing out on her socials because of it. But the irony is she is one of these relationship experts that like teaches followers how to keep their man.
Yeah, it's very much like those who can't do teach, because she did not keep that man. So we have to talk about it. But first, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll explain why the internet is going wild over Wizard Liz's breakup and why self-proclaimed relationship experts often seem like they are the least qualified to give dating advice. This podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game, shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can be a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill, too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
This podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game, shifting a little money here, a little there, just hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can be a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill, too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help you find options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Hey listeners, hope you're enjoying today's show. If this is your first time listening, then welcome. We are thrilled to have you here. In case you missed it, our show comes out twice a week on Wednesdays and Saturdays, so make sure you never miss an episode like this past Wednesdays on the influencer royal wedding that flooded our For You pages and the sad beige lawsuit that asks, can you sue an aesthetic?
And we're back. So Candice, you came in hot today with a very interesting name on your lips, the Wizard Liz. Who is she? Why are we talking about her? What are her magical powers? Give it to me.
Yeah, I got you. So Wizard Liz is a YouTuber and TikToker who is a self-proclaimed self-help expert who focuses on how to get a man, how to keep a man, very grabby relationship talk stuff. And I want to start off by saying, despite how you feel about her or relationship experts like her, she is way more successful than I thought because she has 8 million subscribers on YouTube and 8 million followers on TikTok. And I actually have not seen a content creator with like a 1-to-1 YouTube to TikTok follower ratio like that in so long. So kudos to her.
It is so wild also to hear of someone having 8 million followers on 2 different platforms, and I still had never heard about them. But what type of self-help relationship advice is she giving? Because in like 2025, the range of experts, self-proclaimed experts that are out there giving advice from like sprinkle to like how to be a subservient, submissive trad wife. It would kill a Victorian child.
Yeah. So this all starts in like 2021. Liz is posting YouTube videos, and the title of these are like, be better or stay bitter. I'm not going to lie. I love that. Next, watch this to believe in yourself. Taking my power back. Being a queen is your birthright.
Oh my God. I mean, that seems more self-helpy, confidence type advice.
Yes. And then slowly her videos start morphing into stop dating broke guys. How did... The materialist needs to listen to that.
Yeah.
How to become mesmerizing and attractive. How to detach and not care. And I will play a clip from one of her videos to, give you a sense of her personality.
I've never had desperation for a romantic partner or being with a man. I've never had that. And because I don't have that desperate energy going towards it, it comes to me very easily. I know a lot of women in my life that always try to look for a partner, try to look for love. And that's like that whole goal. And they never attract it. And they then ask me like, Liz, how come you attract it so easily, like whenever you want? And it's like, I don't have that desperation for it.
Okay. Over 1 million people watched that. And it's also, I would say, chilling for me because not quite that delivery with like sort of, I mean, she looks amazing. She has these nails, long hair, those lips. Like she's definitely, on the influencer side of things. But I do say to my friends, like, you just have to stop trying, which is like, I know the most annoying advice, but that, whenever you meet someone you least expected, all those cliches.
Yeah, I think the package of Wizard Liz is very interesting because, look, I don't know if maybe she's breaking the stereotype of wizards, but she kind of looks like an IG model. And I say that complimentary-wise. I think there's something about her on the face value that she's very pretty and attractive. And so in a way, in your head, you're thinking like, well, she would know. She's girl boss.
Right. She looks like exactly the type of person who would have no trouble getting a guy.
Exactly. And therefore, the title of the video I just showed you, it's called I Am Getting Married, because 7 months ago, Liz reveals that she has met a man named Landon.
Not Landon.
Landon is American, specifically from Dallas, Texas. She lives in Dubai, and at the time, they were like 24, 25, and most importantly, he is a Gemini. She is Aries.
And that is the issue right there, because no offense to my dad, who is also this, but a Gemini man, that's interesting.
Exactly, starring Will Smith. Anyway, Liz tells the story of how they got together in this video, which is that about like 3 years prior, Landon had like slid into her DMs, and she claims that he was the first man to ever approach her online and congratulate her on her YouTube success. And for 3 years, even when she was dating another guy, he would just like keep messaging her with praise.
Oh, like that's a reply guy, and we do not need more ammo for reply guys to feel like they should continue that behavior just because it worked on her. But I guess this is an instance where it worked out.
Exactly. And it does work out because one day she books a flight to Santorini with a stop in Athens. And in the airport, she's with her friends. All of a sudden, behind her, she hears someone say, Liz? And it's Landon. It's Landon, who once again is from Dallas, Texas. And apparently he was like going to get on a plane to Mykonos when, quote, his friends had just scammed him or whatever, and they had canceled on him.
That is glossing over some important details, I feel.
Yeah, more importantly, if they scammed you, are they really your friends? Let's do some critical thinking, Landon. Anyway, he was like gonna fly back to America. Apparently, he left his bag in the area where she was sitting. So he comes back, and there she is.
Okay, I've stopped buying this now. He's plotting this.
Right. And look, she said that her and Landon have the same ideology and he's like a fan of hers. So I'm not going to lie. A part of me is like, did he use her own tactics on her?
Yeah.
Anyway, Liz says, instead of flying back to Dallas, Landon, you should come with us to Santorini. So he does. He goes on this trip with them and Liz claims that they just connected from the minute they met IRL.
Okay, this is exactly what happens in the second chunk of Love is Blind, but continue.
Another thing I found interesting in this video is that she says that she would like talk to her therapist about how she doesn't want to get married or have kids, and her therapist would say, you just haven't met a man you feel safe with yet, and once you do, you will want those things. And I want to just like, yeah?
No, get a new therapist.
Is this a TikTok therapist? That's the real question.
I'm like, if you're telling your therapist, I don't want to get married, and she's responding like your mom would and is being like, no, you just met the right person. You're going to get married and you're going to give me grandkids. Red flag.
Exactly. And I kind of just want to pin this for a second because I want to now fast forward to May 24th, which was literally 2 weeks ago, when Liz brings Landon onto her YouTube channel to do an hour-long Q&A, and this is how Landon introduces himself in the video.
Look, I don't think any relationship is 100% perfect. I think that a lot of YouTubers will come on and they'll do like a Q&A about a relationship, and they're just gonna make it look like everything is rainbows and butterflies. At the end of the day, you get into relationships to grow. And a marriage, in my opinion, and I think we agree on this. Do you not want me to say that?
I want you to say whatever you want.
Okay. A marriage is about...
This is a safe space.
This is a safe space. I think the purpose of life is creation and evolution. So you get together in a relationship with someone, you get married, you create together, you create success, a family, and then you evolve together.
It's reminding me of when people will post like a picture with their husband and it's supposed to be like a love post where they're like, you know, saying all these nice things, but in the caption they're like, we've had our ups and downs. And it's like, you know, he did something shitty that they're just like glossing over. That feels like what that is. I mean, but also this idea about like evolving, growing, optimization. It's like, what if a Huberman Lab boy met this like feminine energy girl, and then like this is what you get?
Exactly. And what if I told you that 3 days after this video was posted, Liz goes on her Instagram stories and tells the world that Landon cheated on her, allegedly.
Literally not. I want to say I'm surprised, but from that video, no, I am not.
Exactly. So here's what happens. Liz makes a statement on her IG stories saying that Landon made a Snapchat account and he reached out to a girl to meet up. And the girl reached out to Liz to basically pull a, hey, girly, text and like showed her the evidence.
Not Snapchat coming up again. Nothing good happens there. Like, delete your account.
Exactly. And Liz said that the girl was like a longtime follower and fans of her, which is sore to the heart. Sore to the heart. And Liz's IG stories statement continues, quote, I feel stupid for ignoring the signs and dreams I had.
Oh my God.
And a man that can't control his lust will never be able to lead. He lost everything. I gained everything.
Oh my God. It's really like, it is kind of trad wifey, but you know, like the Christian girl version of I kiss dating goodbye.
Yeah. And Landon, in the meantime, he's been going on this like taking accountability tour where he's like posting videos on IG stories saying that he acknowledges he did something wrong and he, quote, deserves the hate. And he is disappointed and upset.
I mean, okay, disappointed. He did it.
Yeah.
Two, would he have been disappointed if it hadn't come out?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's always the real question.
Yeah, and then you go onto his Instagram grid, you will see two things. First, him and Liz getting engaged, and a sonogram, because Liz reveals at the time of their breakup that she was 4 months pregnant.
Snapchatting, number one. A follower, number two. Of your wife, number three. Well, she's pregnant, number four. Trash behavior, trash behavior, trash behavior, trash behavior.
Exactly. So anyway, now in the comments, obviously, in Landon's comments, people are throwing tomato at him. They're writing things like victim card and you failed that baby before it was even born. My favorite, guys, stop giving hate comments. I can't like all of them. So real.
Yeah.
But what really tickles me is that Wizard Liz is not going to take this lying down because she has been going through her back catalog on Instagram and changing the captions of her photos with Landon.
Which I actually like more than her just wiping them from existence. It's like more powerful because at least you can prove like he was here, but the caption reveal is like he did some bullshit. Like it just fully commemorates all of his sins.
Exactly. So she's changing the captions to things like, what the helly, I was too blind, God really said, bet on this one. But I do think, if anything, Liz is going to take the attention and the high road because she says on IG stories that she's going to sell her $100,000 engagement ring and donate the money to single mothers.
What does Landon do?
I know, right?
$100,000? What?
And let me be clear.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to verify if it was $100,000 or like euros or whatever currency it was, but I will admit it's a big rock.
But yeah, especially from someone who winds up stranded at an airport after being scammed by his friends. I don't know. I have questions about the ring. As you know, I have questions about everything anything that's come out of his mouth at this point.
Exactly. But anyway, Kate, I've told you the tale. What surprises you or intrigues you most about this story?
I mean, it's like the dramatic irony how she kind of got played at her own game. Even though Liz had a fiance, she teaches her viewers to stand up for themselves and how to be confident enough to, quote, keep a man. And yet this advice did not work on her relationship.
Yeah. And I kind of wonder if this isn't just about Wizard Liz, but about the shakiness of like relationship expert TikTok, because my personal philosophy is that anytime someone starts a video with, here are 5 things to do if you're single, I like immediately scroll because I just know that their advice is either so broad that it applies to nobody or it only worked for one person and their relationship. But the thing is, like, every relationship is not the same. Every relationship is not a game.
And I think the bigger question is, has a second plane hit the Sprinkle Sprinkle Tower? Because is it time for us to have a real conversation about how toxic this type of content actually is?
I think it is. But first, let's take a break. When we come back, why it's time for TikTok to do a relationship expert purge and whether we should be a little hopeful about the dating app trenches.
Hey there, travelers. Kaylee Cuoco here. Sorry to interrupt your music, great artist BT Dubs, but wouldn't you rather be there to hear it live? With Priceline, you can get out of your dreams and into your dream concert. They've got millions of travel deals to get you to that festival, gig, rave, soundbath, or sonic experience you've been dreaming of. Download the Priceline app today, and you can save up to 60% off hotels and up to 50% off flights. So don't just dream about that trip. Book it with Priceline.
Go to your happy price, Priceline.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. From streaming to shopping, Prime helps you get more out of your passions. So whether you're a fan of true crime or prefer a nail-biting novel from time to time, with services like Prime Video, Amazon Music, and fast free delivery, Prime makes it easy to get more out of whatever you're into or getting into. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to learn more.
Oh, ICYMI listeners, do I have a scoop for you? So what is it, you ask? It's that Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Now, before anyone goes suggesting that this is just a rumor, know that there's actual proof that this kettle of tea is not only piping hot, but 100% true. So, yeah, sometimes it pays to be a little nosy, but it always pays to discover. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report, learn more at discover.com/creditcard. And we're back. And well, I didn't know anything about this woman until you brought her up to date, Candice. I am so glad you did, because it gives me a platform to share possibly one of my hottest takes, which is we need to ban, quote, relationship and dating experts from TikTok.
Please speak more about this.
Oh, yes, because, I mean, even just for their sake, like, look at Wizard Liz. She kind of boxed herself into this glass house by proclaiming herself an expert in how to, quote, keep a man. And that credibility depends entirely on her practicing what she preaches, which is something, as she then learned with this man, Landon, that you actually can't control. Like, you can't keep a man. It's not possible. If they wanted to, they will. You know, it applies everywhere. And I don't know, I'm curious, did she or her followers point out the irony in sort of her situation?
I think her followers definitely did. I also kind of feel like Liz also saw the irony because, to be honest, the fact that she is someone who preaches herself as like a relationship expert, how to keep your man, she definitely could have hid this whole scandal and been like, you know what, I'm not going to like broadcast my failures.
Right.
But the way that she is doing it and doing it so immediately and almost actually kind of like bringing people onto her side, I'm like, you know what? She is kind of winning.
Yeah, and like I don't want to dogpile on Liz because she is so not the only creator that makes this type of content. This is a whole influencer genre, and one day Carrie Bradshaw will be tried at The Hague for what she unleashed.
Yeah, because before social media, look, women were doling out the same advice in 90s magazines, and they were relationship columnists. Like, none of this is really new. It just reaches us in new ways.
And wouldn't you think if there was some kind of universal formula or hack for having an amazing first date and winning over the man of your dreams, it would have been figured out back then? Like, I'm supposed to believe that this, random young woman who comes across my For You page, a person with no credentials in relationships, but, a bubbly personality who's fun to watch, I'm supposed to believe that she has held this secret the whole time. The answer to this core human experience we've been lamenting and struggling through for centuries. I'm supposed to believe the answer has been with the wizard Liz. And again, it is not just her. I mean, like you said earlier, none of this is actually new.
Yeah, and look, we haven't even gotten to the advice itself.
Right, and I find this advice is always so arbitrary. Like, I'm not as familiar with Wizard Liz, but there's this creator called We Met at Acme who posts a lot of millennial dating content, and she'll always do these polls on her Instagram story asking, how should someone feel or react in certain dating situations. And these polls always position the most minute actions or decisions as being major signifiers of how a relationship will unfold.
Yeah, this is stuff like who texts first, what number date is acceptable to have sex, when does he introduce you to his friends?
And yeah, the answers to all those questions are way too person-specific, situation-specific things to make any kind of broad rules about. And I don't think the creators sharing this advice are knowingly scamming people. I think a lot of them do genuinely believe this because, like you said earlier, it works for them. But, and this is where I get a little petty, I don't often see this advice coming from people who are actually successful at dating and in relationships, which isn't even a dig because dating is not quote, skill. It is about finding the right person. And we also know how possible it is to later learn that you're with the wrong one, as Wizard Liz can attest.
Yeah. I'm more in the camp now of if you find the love of your life, that's luck.
Yeah.
That's luck. And there was nothing you could do about it. And I mean, when the advice is about finding the right person and identifying red flags and suggesting conversations you should have with new partners, hey, that can be helpful. But when the advice is about keeping someone and how to lure any man into your clutches, it's just about finding a warm body, not love.
Right, because we can joke that Wizard Liz failed at quote keeping her man, but it's she shouldn't keep that man. He was going to cheat on her. So it's there's all kinds of problems with that. And when you put it like that, and actually speaking of the 90s and early 2000s, it reminds me kind of pickup artists, which is the male version of this. I mean, for so many reasons, it's not as sinister.
Yeah.
But there was this guy called Mystery, and he called his work the, quote, mystery method. And it's exactly what you'd expect from a pickup artist. It doesn't distinguish between women at all. It's all about just getting someone, anyone, to sleep with you. And the tactics are, of course, extremely sexist and demeaning.
There are specific hardwired signals that you are evolutionarily calibrated to demonstrate when there is a man of high value in proximity to you. They are touching of the hair. Subconscious, thank you.
That's not evolutionary.
They are, it is, it's hardwired. No. It is, if they scratch here, no. No, no.
Nowadays it's hair.
Again, what a woman says and how they respond are two different things. I could be wrong, who knows? I did speak about the science of social dynamics at MIT, but I could be wrong.
And can I just say, that's not the case with these dating gurus.
Truly, because when we talk about some of these arbitrary rules and advice, so much of it enforces very traditional gender roles, like when it's okay to have sex and when you should be withholding it or not initiating conversations. It's all kind of shrink yourself smaller and smaller so you don't knock anything off balance.
But they can package it as feminism because it's women saying, theoretically, a woman choosing to behave this way is taking control.
And here's my question, though. Let's say these methods even work, which I am already skeptical of. But let's say you followed Wizard Liz's advice. You followed We Met at Acme's advice. You've played everything just right. And congrats, you now have a husband. That is for life. And if you started the relationship behaving in a way that's not actually authentic to who you are, that's a performance that you either have to keep up for decades or something you'll kind of have to drop and face the consequences of.
Which is like the climax of every single rom-com that's about characters like this.
Yeah, and in that case, like Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey, they worked it out in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. But that is, fiction.
The other thing that rubs me the wrong way about this particular era of dating advice girlies is it is pretty famously a hard time to date right now, okay? Every day I see people on my For You page saying that, like, Hinge is cooked, Tinder is where real love is, all the options are bad, but also they're like, I don't know how to approach people in real life anymore. My biggest pet peeve, truly, is when, like, they take video of someone they see in real life and they're like, help me find him. And everyone's like, he was right there.
He was right there. Yeah, I've seen those too. Yeah.
Right? And it just feels like, and again, not necessarily on purpose, that creators are kind of profiting off of that.
And even worse, it's just like a waste of these singles' time, sort of to operate like things aren't working out for you just because you texted at the wrong time of day or whatever. It delegitimizes the struggle because you're going to listen to the advice and you're going to try those things. And if they don't work, you're going to think it is something you're doing wrong. And it likely won't actually have made a difference. And by the way, I'm not saying that if you try these tips or are single right now, there's like no hope at all. But when you find the right person, it will be because you found the right person and you fit together in that very unique way that only comes from meeting people and trial and error, not because you followed any tips or tricks.
That's right. That's coming straight from Wizard Kate.
Yeah, Wizard Kate.
Let's bring it back to Wizard Liz. By the way, maybe that should have been the Harry Potter reboot. It's Wizard Kate giving advice on love.
Perfect.
But yeah, bringing it back to Wizard Liz, it's not like these creators have cracked any kind of code either.
And that's something that makes this new wave of relationship gurus different because, Carrie Bradshaw wrote her columns, but her readers weren't privy to her actual life, which showed she was a mess and didn't know what the hell she was talking about.
Yeah, they didn't see her showing up at her toxic situationships apartment every other night in some like Ringling Brothers ass outfit.
That is exactly what it was like. I was trying to think, what is that scene I'm thinking of? It's the Ringling Brother ass outfit.
Mm-hmm.
But for these online creators, like part of the appeal is that they share their personal life online and like may even use their own relationship as proof of their credibility. And like the OCD in me that is like always thinking I'm like jinxing things or waiting for like dramatic irony to befall me, I could never do that. To me, that's asking for it from the universe.
Mm-hmm. Plus, if you're posting about how your relationship is so great all the time, is it?
Yeah. I mean, I firmly believe that the most successful relationships are the ones we never even hear about.
Yeah. So here's the thing. We're cooked, dating apps cooked, everyone's cooked. I mean, what are single people to do? Is there a such thing as helpful dating advice?
Okay, I actually do have some, and I feel like it's not like me being like holier than thou on my little like marriage throne. It's not even advice per se, but it is something that I do think it could help to hear.
Okay, I'm all ears open.
Okay, so I'm 32. And right now, most people in my orbit are coupled up, except for a few single friends who are obviously having the worst time of their lives because they're surrounded by these couples.
Mm-hmm. And from personal experience, that is true.
Right. But if you're around this age, within, 5 years either way, and you're interested in dating someone around this age, just wait. Because right now, the people who have been in long-term relationships since their 20s are kind of like at their make or break point.
Oh, it's very much like, I've made the Pinterest board. Mm-hmm. Are we getting married or not?
Right. They're kind of having these shit or get off the pot situations. And I predict the apps are about to witness an influx of the people who chose to get off the pot. They're coming. Right now, they're just in that first big long-term relationship that they're realizing isn't the one.
And if you don't get them this time, you can catch them again in another 10 years when everyone's getting divorced, okay? The trenches will become the swimming pool.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Think about it. Okay, that's the show. We'll be back in your feed on Wednesday, so definitely subscribe. That way, you never miss an episode. Leave us a rating and a review in Apple or Spotify and tell your friends about us. You can follow us on Twitter at ICYMI_pod, and you can always drop us a note at ICYMI@slate.com.
ICYMI is produced by Vic Whitley-Berry, Candice Lim, and me, Kate Lindsay. Daisy Rosario is our senior supervising producer, Mia Lobel is Slate's executive producer of podcasts, and Hillary Fry is Slate's editor-in-chief. See you online.
Or at the newly renovated Hinge swimming pool.
All right, here we go.
New Phineas and Ferb is here.
We're back, baby.
For 104 more days.
I know what we're gonna do today.
Of summer vacation.
I am ready for summer shenanigans. Let's do it. Oh, yeah.
All right. We're gonna bust Phineas and Ferb once and for all.
Are we gonna do this again?
New inventions, shenanigans, innators, adventures, and songs.
Brand new summer vacation.
New Phineas and Ferb starts June 5th on Disney Channel and next day on Disney Plus. On DisneyPlus.Disney.com.